Guys, welcome back. Episode 30 of Private Lesson. This week working with Dave at Tomahawk MX, just working on body position in the air. He had a habit of leaning back, which was throwing him kind of pretty much straight up and down, and then working on that commitment coming into a jump. So a similar section that you've seen me work in the past, but somewhat different issues, so it's interesting to see. Make sure you guys check out the Patreon page, click the link in the bio. Pretty awesome community forming already, 160 so patrons on there. I'm constantly adding different content than what you guys see on YouTube, and it's only $2 a month, so why not? Appreciate all the love lately. The channel's definitely popping off, which is awesome, so I appreciate that greatly. It's pretty cool to see, and it gets me excited for the future and what we can make happen with this whole channel. Alright guys, enjoy the video, episode 30. Alright, so he gave me a little briefing before we started today as far as kind of his bad habits, one of which is he says he stands up too early, or says he stands up on the jump face, kind of halfway up it, and then he also commits to the jump last second. So just letting him do a couple runs just so we have a baseline to see where he's at.
I'm picking spots already. I'm looking, I'm staring at the faces. I'm trying to pick a spot that's not gonna kick me. And I still felt a little bit of movement somewhere up in there. It looks smooth here now, but it seems like I'm seeing something on the faces that's making me search around.
Yeah, I mean, this takeoff has a little bit of a, right here it starts to kind of bow back in.
Yeah.
It goes up and it comes in just a little bit, which if you're doing what you say you're guilty of and you did it the first time, we're standing right here with, let's call it 5 feet, 6 feet to go on the takeoff. You're standing right where the takeoff falls away from you. Can you see it? How it?
Yeah, I see the dip right here.
It up and it dips in. So you're standing up right as it dips in. So you're like extra lightening the bike. So now we're basically guaranteed to get some type of kick or wheel spin here. In a perfect world, you should try to stand, see where that red stake is?
Yeah.
You should try to stand way back there.
Okay. I can
so
do
that way you're already in.
If I have a game plan, I can get that done.
I mean, if you're really nervous about the jump or trying to build jumping confidence, stand around the whole turn. Give you a really good sense of what gear to be in.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's probably third, because third gear is really broad on this bike.
My goggles over there?
I didn't see where you put them.
I left them on the handlebar. I don't need them. This bike pulls strong.
It didn't even sound like you were really on it, and it's just...
No, I wasn't. I mean, this bike's peppy. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed for a Honda. I know the Hondas in the past have been a little sluggish.
Yeah, remember it's on map 3, so it's on the most aggressive map too.
Okay, it's good. I mean, you should have no issue at all carrying third all the way around the turn, so don't worry about going down to second.
Now, that's what I'm saying. It seemed like if I carried the exact same speed you just did, I would not jump as far. Everybody I see get more lift, natural lift than I do. For some reason, I can't figure that out. Okay, so I can be following somebody at the same speed, and their trajectory will go up and down, and I'll go coop and and land right at the end of it.
Okay, there's 2 ways to hit a jump. There's soaking up and scrubbing, which is definitely probably what you're doing.
By accident.
By accident, which you're just pushing through, which is good on a lot of obstacles. And then there's preloading and seat bouncing. Okay. Which you're trying to get maximum height and distance. You need to know when to apply which technique. Mm-hmm. This tabletop and the step up after both are going to be preload seat bounce technique, to where you do, especially on a 250, you need to get that extra pop and distance. 2 major differences between the two. One, the preload seat bounce technique does require, both require getting speed ahead of time, but ramping up the RPMs as you go. So if you heard, when I know it was subtle because I was pretty light on the gas, but I'd come out and as I came up the jump phase, I was slowly ramping up the RPM. Right. Same thing with the step up. Yeah. What that does is it helps compress the suspension so that you get that compression rebound to maximize the height and the distance. This is the transition of the jump right here. When you're going up the transition of the jump, to preload, you want to be squatted down low with the bike. So your chest should be basically on the crossbar pad, your butt should be almost on the seat. You're so low. And then as you get to the top, right as you begin to catch air, as your front tire comes off, you unload and extend to almost a full lockout. So you're going to go from this to all the way up.
So that's
it's almost like bunny hopping.
That's a preload is what you're describing. Yes. Okay.
And then soaking up is the same movement, just timed completely different. So in the transition, when you soak up, you're going to stand completely locked out vertical. As your front tire comes off, you're then going to absorb as much as possible.
Oh.
Hit this jump the exact same speed and same RPMs, and I'm going to do 2 different body motions.
Okay.
And let's just see what happens. I don't know how big of a difference it'll make, but I bet you it'd be pretty obvious.
All right.
One, my guess is I'm going to land 3/4. Which is probably your frustration,
right,
and not catch as much height. And then the next one, it's gonna look like I got springboarded.
Now
and I really tried to do that fair, like was I pretty...
Yeah, now the first one I didn't see you do anything but just kind of stand there.
I stood and then I just let the bike come to me.
Okay,
yep.
Okay, but the second one was obvious. You got down and you bunny hopped it up. Right. You know, it's like you wanted to jump.
It's like a BMX bunny hop without yanking the bike. So you're basically just pushing it hard down into the face and going down with it, and then you just extend vertical. The soak up was just me going vertical, and then as I got to the top, I was just quickly letting the bike come up.
Yeah. And I
think
think
you see the difference.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah, that's what I think. I do that soak up. I'm just along for the ride. Do that in the air too. When I like if I get up there and I get nose high, I'm just waiting for it to land. I'm just stuck. You know, I know what to do, but it's like I'm not quick enough to get there. I can do that. I can do a brake tap. I can change gears. I can do whatever I want in the air if I think about it before I jump the jump.
You can't make that decision.
I can't do that. Now, the only thing I can do is that panic rev when I get kicked like that. I can get on that and save myself.
Isn't that funny how that's an instinct, but the other ones aren't?
Yeah, it's weird.
They'll form. I mean, you'll develop habits to where you'll know what to do. It just that comes with experience.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you this, but you also need to learn to the best of your ability when to apply each technique. So at Bud's Creek, which is where you mostly ride, it's going to be pretty close to a 50-50. So like the step up you're talking about out of the turn, you probably would want to use the preload technique to get yourself up over that. The finish line tabletop, if you're approaching with the amount of speed you should, you should, like, you watch when the pros, they're scrubbing it, right? So you should be soaking that thing up because you don't want to pop that to the moon.
Right.
You want to just get the distance. All right, see, so first one, he stood up around the turn and he kind of followed the step-by-step instruction that I gave him and he preloaded. Second one, he sat down in the turn and that kind of reset old habits, and then things just went to crap when he got to the jump phase. So create the game plan and stick to it. So if you're doing a feet on the pegs moto, keep the feet on the pegs. If you're telling yourself you're gonna stand up in the turn, stand up in the turn. So that was correct body movement, but he's got a blip habit, so we just got to eliminate that. Ramp up the RPM, but don't blip it. Same thing on that step up, don't blip it.
And try the third gear all the way around here.
Yep. The reason he's boner airing each time he takes off isn't completely due to throttle. It's because he's nervous. So as soon as he gets in the air, he extends his elbows and he begins to fade away with his upper body, which drives his weight to the back. So unintentionally, he's causing that every time he takes off. So you can see he kind of thrusts his hips forward so that he can allow his upper body to get more vertical and get his weight back. Where when you watch me jump, my knees are back and my chest is forward. And a natural instinct when you're scared of anything is to get your head away from the danger. So that's just an instinctual thing. You need to try to drive your head towards the danger, so to speak, so that that bike can stay level, all while keeping your knees back. Just to show you that there's nothing to worry about, I'm gonna hit it 1, 2, 3. I'll hit it 4 times in 4 different spots. Right. The last spot that I hit it on the far left is where I'm gonna want you to go, because that's your safest bet.
Really? Okay.
Not because of the takeoff, but because of the landing.
Oh, okay.
But just watch the way that I approach. I'll hit that mark on the other side of your rock. I'll hit the rock for all I care, and watch. It's not gonna affect me at all. Everything other than body position was great, but yeah, you did kind of panic a little bit, and you just totally went full extension with your elbows.
Yeah, I realized I did that time.
Resist that feeling, but keep that same commitment, and you'll be good. Not bad. I'm not getting the tip. Okay, so the last one, especially the one before, maybe a little bit, you were dying off with your RPMs as you came off. The last one especially, you came up wide open, which was awesome, but then I'd say about halfway up the lip you actually let off the gas completely. So you still almost cleared it just based on how much forward momentum you had, which was great, but it killed all of the pop that you needed. And you're also jumping it what looks to me like dead center, so you're taking off where there's you aborted mission on getting any kind of lift. You're just relying on raw speed, which is good commitment. But try to now combine that level of commitment with hitting this side of the takeoff. Or if you're feeling comfortable enough, the far right works as well. It's just the only thing that people get scared with here is you are kind of riding the edge of the track. Your no-goes.
I'm gonna try this edge here. So that's like 3rd gear. I feel like I should be in 4th.
Do it. I think 4th is fine. All right, so just so you're not confused by what those are, anywhere in between these field goal posts are your no-go zone. So you have to be either to the left or to the right. Okay. And that's where you're gonna get pop. Try and then combine that with 4th gear and then keep the chest forward and you'll be golden. I think that was 4th gear. Pretty good commitment, but then he's gonna know what he did wrong too. His upper body came right back. Yeah, that was money. That was beautiful. That was all the puzzle pieces together.
Even though I made it, I don't feel like I still did a total commitment on the gas. It felt like I kind of let off.
It was a slightly less commitment than over here, but I think the face is steeper on that right side, so it was enough.
It was enough, but it was still a little safety thing in there. I guess it's all about, I'm just getting comfortable, so I'm kind of going for it a little bit better.
You're building confidence, I can tell, each time.
Yeah.
Build upon that. Hit that, whatever line you just hit was perfect.
Yeah, I'll do that a couple more times.
Hit that line again, a little more commitment, and the more you commit, don't change where that head is at. Yeah, so that way you don't Ronnie Mack it on me. Dialed. As crazy as it sounds, jumping is such a confidence thing, but I can't teach the confidence. He's just slowly gaining it, and each time he looks more and more safe. Now, is that body position perfect? No, but at least he's neutral, so the bike is shooting neutral. You're shooting.
Body is still probably in the wrong position, isn't it?
I just said to the camera, I said, is his body position perfect? I'm like, no.
No.
But your head, everything is close enough to where you don't feel like you're looping it now, right?
No.
No, your bike is shooting perfectly straight.
I'm just totally committing to it more, hitting it harder, feeling like I can do it. But
there's a couple things, and this is where I would start to confuse you all over again. Your feet would need to scoot back a little more. You're riding a little flat-footed, which in turn is driving your knees a little too far forward.
your body position is not perfect by any means, but it was good enough those last 6 or 7 jumps to where when I was watching you, I wasn't cringing. Where when we first started on that tabletop, each time you jumped, I was like, oh, yeah. Get your feet scooted back and into position. If you're standing up the right way, hold your front brake so you don't roll. Stand up, I'll hold you. You should be dropping your heel like there. And what that's going to do is if you ride on the balls of your feet and drop your heel, it's going to drive your knee back and drive your butt back. Okay. So it'll completely fix your lower body. The only hard part then is you got to drive the chest forward while keeping that back. So if you want to add things to the equation, I know it gets confusing. Yeah. The next step would be fix the feet.